Hey everyone, how are we all doing? Okay, so before we get started, everything I say in this video is my opinion, mine alone. Please feel free to do your own research, come to your own conclusions. With that being said, let's do this. So, take two. The last one kind of screwed up somehow. So, what I want to talk about is Josh, the Dad Challenge podcast. Everyone's favourite ex-pastor, or he used to be anyway. For a long while he was. But, as you know, every dog has their day. Masks fall. Eventually. If you don't want to be found out to be a bad person, don't be a bad person. If you don't want to be found out to be a hypocrite, simple, don't be a hypocrite. Don't tell the world not to do something and then go and do it. Don't make demands on people that you can't stand up to yourself. And I think that's where we are with Josh. He failed as a family vlogging channel. So he decided to go after just that, family vlogging channels. You'll often hear him shouting and screaming about how many subscribers a person will have. To me, that is nothing but jealousy. You'll also hear him loudly talking about how much money people will make. Envy. Jealousy. Josh hates women. And don't get me wrong, he had a bad upbringing. He didn't have the best mum in the world. He went alone with that. A lot of people didn't. But I'm not going to take it out on every mother I see. Because I know that not every mother is my mother. But when Josh looks at a mother, he looks at them like they're his mother. And he has made that more than clear. We're now going to go over some of the old videos that I made about Josh. Dating back to last February 2021. Seems like I saw this coming from a mile off. The dachshund. And everything. For a long time there, Josh was taking in people's names and addresses. He would put a wheel up on his screen. He would do his weird dance thing, which made him look like a clown. And then he would pick two names. Two members, two Patreons. He would spin the wheel and whatever prize they landed on, he would send them. So that means that Josh was collecting addresses. How many of those people have spoke out about him? And then tell me how many of those he doxed. Because I am pretty sure if you won a prize and you spoke out about him, you either got doxed or you're going to. So please, when someone is collecting addresses like that, there's a motive behind it. There is a reason they're doing that. And it's not just to be nice. Josh doesn't do nice. Josh is a hypocrite. A male chauvinist pig. Just saying it is. And he is jealous of people who did better than he did. Because he couldn't be a family vlogging channel, he wants to bring the family vlogging channels down. And that's just my opinion. And that's what I say. So we're going to look through some of my old videos of Josh. Let's do this. And I titled it Mommy Issues Maybe. Seems today we have a lot more sort of information on Josh about how bad his childhood was. I'm sorry you went through that, Josh. I'm sorry you had to deal with all of that. But I don't think you should be out here taking it out on other mommies. I don't think you should be making other mommies pay for what your mother put you through. That is just unrealistic and unfair. Not all mommies are going to be bad. Not all mommies are going to be alcoholics. And it's such a shame that you had to go through that. But I ask you, please, stop taking it out on other people's mommies.
Hey everyone, how are we? Okay, let me just get this out of the way. Everything I say is my opinion and mine alone. Please feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Please do not attack anyone mentioned in this video. Have a nice day. Okay, so I really want to talk to people about this guy. The Dad Challenge podcast. Also known as the Dad Challenge channel, Disaster Detailing and the Burnt Out Pasta. For this video I'm going to be calling him by his name Josh. So let me just tell you a little bit about Josh in case you don't know who he is. Josh is an ex-pastor who was fired from his job. He did also attempt to start a family vlogging channel, which didn't work out for him. I believe that Josh has menopausal issues with some sort of midlife crisis kicking in there. And a fair bit of mommy issues.
Just a little sarcasm added, didn't there? But possibly true.
And I do think that's why he goes after a lot of women. Maybe it's time for him to sit down with his own mother and sort of try and work these things out. So the reason I want to talk to people about this guy is because, as I stated just now, he likes to go after women. He's trying to get all family vlogging channels shut down. Now, whilst I don't participate in family vlogging channels, or I don't watch them, I'm also not in a position I should be dictating to anyone what they can and can't do. By accusing every family vlog channel of exploiting and abusing their children, I think is wrong.
Okay, so I think we got everything we need from that video. The next video I put in more sort of evidence of what Josh is doing, so I'm going to move over to that one now. So if you can just bear with me a second. Okay, so moving on to the next video with more with evidence inside it. Let's do this.
The video I put up yesterday. I didn't put any sort of receipts in there. I probably didn't explain myself very well. So I'm going to try and fix that here. So in this video I'm going to show you how Josh really does blow gasket. To the point, and why he could have heart attack at some point during his rant. If that's what you call it. That he is really going off on Priscilla. I think his reactions are out of order. He does have a tendency to take women apart, attack women more than he does men. But his excuse for that is women are more in the bloodline of the family bloggers. But that's not the point. You're literally tearing women apart. You're calling them gross, indulged, selfish, obese, lazy. And these are just a few of the things you call women. And if you speak to your wife like that, then I don't know. It's disgusting. So I'm not going to let you watch this little bit of video now of Josh screaming at Priscilla Wiz. That is mum, I think. She could be a stepmom, I'm not sure. So
Yeah, Josh, a normal parent with a normal child. But Abby isn't normal. Abby's special. Abby needs things done a certain way, in a certain routine. Abby needs to know what's coming next. And you could never cope with Abby. Abby is far too special for you, Josh. I can show you that. And I said I don't put my children over the internet. I put the odd picture here and there, which is not too bad. They're adorable. They're beautiful. So why shouldn't I? If I want to share my children, I will share my children, Josh. If Abby's parents want to share their good times with Abby, and the rough times, or some of the rough times anyway, that's up to them. That's not your choice to make or mine. But apparently you think it's yours. Okay, so that was that. As you can see, he goes right off at her. Well, Josh, it's a good job that you're not the school, isn't it? Because just like your job as a pastor, you would probably get fired. Just saying. I'm going to move on now because we've seen enough of that. Three bread might end with this one. At the end of this, I'm going to put some screenshots. And the screenshots are of some of the children that Josh has used in his own videos. When he's shouting and screaming about these children have been exploited for money, blah blah blah. Stop exploiting these kids for money. When Josh is showing these kids, he's not blurring them out. So that automatically rings alarm bells for me. How is he saving these kids by putting more posts on the internet about them with their pictures? Why does he feel like he has the right to post these kids, but they don't? No, personally I don't post my children on the internet. But that's for personal reasons. And
And
I'm not going to dictate
I'm not going to dictate to someone what they can and can't do with their children.
It's not my place.
It's not my place.
How
How
anyone feels like
they have the right to tell people what they can and can't do is beyond me.
And telling
People how they can and can't raise their children. Now,
this isn't really
the only thing Josh is doing, now, is he?
He's also got after
people who are taking out PPP loans.
There is a video.
There is a video of him, I can't remember which one it is, saying that he's filling in paperwork
to get
many rewards
for turning these people
in.
One moment, guys. I need to pause for a second.
So then he is taking advantage of a situation.
Okay, let's get back to this. I just had to stop there for a second and do something. So, here goes. Wow. And Josh wonders
why he got thrown out of the church.
His attitude
towards people is disgusting.
I swear down, he's
the next Katie Joy.
No, I think he's worse than Katie Joy.
I heard him say that
he put a claim on
someone or a strike or something.
Just to find out
their personal information.
Now, as far as I can see,
that's something only Katie Joy would do.
I know it's
bang out of order.
I'm sorry, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
Don't strike
someone so you can get their private details and dox them.
And I honestly don't
know
how he can do this
to people.
How is it
right for him
to show these
children?
He's saying that
the children can't consent.
But if a child goes
to the doctors or to the hospital
or have anything done,
they ask for the parents' consent.
So did that mean
that Josh went to the parents to get consent to use their children in his videos?
And Abby,
Josh,
you talk about
Abby like you know everything.
You know how she is.
You know how she is. You know how she behaves.
You know
her
habits and
her routines. And
when you've got a
special child like Abby,
they need
routine. They need things to be done a certain way by certain people.
Because otherwise it
throws them off all week.
One bad day can
turn into a bad week.
One bad week can turn
into a bad month.
Life is difficult
for people like Abby as it is.
But for someone like
you to be going online and
acting like you know
everything.
You don't know how she'd react
if she had to go home.
You don't know how she'd
act
if Priscilla went
into the school.
Would she then leave
Priscilla without her?
Or is it routine?
Her little quirks. You don't know what her passions are. Family member of mine. You could give him a brand new 2,000-piece jigsaw. And he'd complete it. He wouldn't even look at the picture in the box. He loves jigsaws. So why do you think you have a right to judge Fisher? Late on Monday night yesterday, I watched a video of yours. Your son went to come into your room where you film. And you did the exact same thing Katie Joy would do. I'm filming, not know that. We wanted to give you a picture. You sit there criticising parents. Like you're king of the bloody hell. You're not perfect. You got fired from being a pastor. That's insane. And you're too busy to see a picture your kid prove you. That you sit there in front of your PC, calling out parents for being bad parents, for exploiting the children, for abusing them. Yet there are videos on your YouTube when at least one of your children has been on in the last 3 months. The children can't consent, Josh, can they? The minors, they cannot consent. Sitting on your high horse acting like you're perfect.
So moving forward, I'm going to show you now some of the kids that Josh has exploited on his channel. But hey, Josh, you can do anything you want to do. But anybody else? Nah. You don't like that, you. Moving on.
Rather than attacking
people who are
clueless on the internet.
Okay, so let's get into this story. The story started back
back a year ago.
a year next month.
A year next month, to be precise.
With a little
With
boy
a little boy
who was adopted
who
by
was
an
adopted by an
American
American family
from China.
from China.
This little boy
This
was
little boy was
beautiful,
beautiful,
absolutely gorgeous.
absolutely gorgeous.
I would have loved
I would have
to have
loved
brought
to
him home
have
myself.
brought him home myself.
What I should say there is this little boy is beautiful. He is still on the planet. He is still on Earth. He is still living. And he has moved on with his life with another family. Thankfully. That is a special little boy. After 3 years, his family could no
longer cope.
Well, that's what I believe.
Well, that's what I believe anyway.
I wasn't there.
I wasn't there.
I don't know
the struggles
they had to deal with. I do know the daily struggles I go through
with my daughter,
who we believe
is on the spectrum like this little boy was.
And
I
know how
difficult it is.
Not only those,
the other children in the house too.
So
yeah,
so that happened.
that happened a year ago.
And
police
got involved.
Other
police
also announced that the little boy
was safe, happy, and thriving. Now, in my mind, this
should be the end.
Children are not easy with autism. Children are not easy, full stop. They like to make you work for it. They love to make you work for it. And on days, I think that is the highlight of my kids' days, working for it. They want to test every inch of you. They want to make sure they can cross every line. They want to push that line further and further and further every time. And my little girl with, I believe, is autism, we will find out later this year, within a couple of months. She's no different. If anything, she is more. She's more pushy. She was more testing the boundaries. But that's what children do. And that's what you should love about your child. Is they want to see how far they can take everything. And they will try. And they will try and try and try. And no matter how hard they try, you have to be strong. You have to be calm, collected, at all times. Being a parent full stop is hard. No one can say that being a parent is easy. Being a parent of a child with autism, yeah, that's 3 sets of triplets in one. My little girl has so much energy. So much energy. No fear whatsoever. Me, on the other hand, she scares me to death. She will climb anything. She loves water. And she loves being a child. And you know what? I love every second of it. It is the best job in the world. One of the hardest jobs in the world, but the best. And I wouldn't change it for the world. Not a chance. I would do it 30, 40 times over and not change a thing. Because my children are my life. If I could have given H a home, I would have in a heartbeat. No question about it. From what I do know, that he has got a home. He is happy. He is thriving. Sloan did speak to someone in regards to H, but he didn't give any other information apart from H was happy and thriving. But being a parent's not easy. So Josh, cut some of these people some slack, is it? Because clearly you find it extremely easy sitting in your basement away from the family for hours on end. So before you criticize others, make sure your own home is cleaned up first, please. End of the story. Because adoptions fail every day around the world. But I don't see this person going out there and fighting for every adopted child. And do you know why? He's not out there fighting for every adopted child? Because he wouldn't be able to. But this person's channel took off during the Micah Scaffer situation. He made it his mission to get not only her, but also her husband off YouTube. And this YouTuber I'm talking about is the Dad Challenge podcast, also known as the Dad Challenge channel, and the Burnt Out Pasta. Now, you should really keep in mind this guy is an ex-pastor. A pastor who was fired from his job. And he sits at his computer daily. He sits at his computer daily. What was the word? Belittling women. Attacking women daily. And 9 times out of 10 it is women that he's going after. Telling them they should not be showing their own children on YouTube, whilst he himself is showing his 14-year-old adopted son on YouTube frequently. So Josh, just quit it. And let's not forget the son in the diaper, who is bouncing on his head, and the video is still on his channel to this day. So Josh, before you judge others, judge yourself. As I was saying, there are families daily going through the struggles of deciding whether they carry on with their adoption or they try to do best by the situation they're in. And sometimes the best isn't always what you would expect. Sometimes the best is hopefully finding another home, another family. A place where the child can feel secure, can feel comfortable enough to wind down and to accept that that's where they live. And whether you're fostered, whether you're adopted, for the child who knows, like Huxley probably didn't even know what was going on half the time, because he was so young. And what I seen him going through was heartbreaking. Don't get me wrong, it was. And some of the videos that I watched were heartbreaking too. But that was a year ago. And if what the police said is right, then shouldn't we let it go? Shouldn't we let him get on with his life? Do we have a right to keep attacking people over and over, relentlessly attacking people? And there's a reason I want to bring this up today. I'm not pulling it out of the air and saying, Josh has been doing this for a year. No, something happened today. Something big happened today. Josh came on YouTube and declared to everybody that Micah had phoned the police. That's right. She'd had enough. And she phoned the police. And do you know what? I don't blame her. I honestly don't blame her. I'm more surprised it took a year for her to call them. And I'm extremely disappointed in what the police did or didn't do. Because going off what Josh said, they done nothing. I hope that one day Micah will decide to sue Josh. And some of the other families for that matter. Because he is vile. One of the people that Josh attacks frequently made their own cleaning products, and he actually said that they would probably smell like her lady parts. How gross do you have to be to even think of something like that? What's the matter, Josh? You got the hots for this woman. You want her that badly that you're imagining what she smells like down there? Is that really what it's all about, Josh? Is that really what you're thinking about? From what I can gather, this woman barely shows her children on the internet. You just taking a dislike into her. You think you're better. You talk and act like you're better. But in all honesty, you're less than. He sits there ridiculing her, tearing her apart bit by bit, with his so-called
snark.
No, you're just damn right
bully.
And I'm going to go into a
little bit of the video that he did.
I'm not going to go through
I'm not going to go through it all
because
honestly,
it's just more of his
snark,
more of his sort of I'm better than you attitude. No, Josh, you're not better.
You're not better than Micah.
If you can sit there,
and justify
ripping her apart inch by inch, then you know better. And I honestly hope
you see this.
Because you were so
far on your backside.
I'm surprised you can
put your head up straight.
Right, so let me explain to you why I'm so against what Josh is doing. This little boy was given
another chance
with another family and not put back into
the system.
That is amazing.
That is fantastic.
There are so many
children
who they can't find a placement for.
That is heartbreaking.
I was one of those children.
I was one of those children they couldn't find a placement for, so I was in the system.
I was in one of these
community homes,
being shipped from pillar
to post every so often,
because they needed
the bed in that area for someone else.
Josh goes after these parents
like he knows
everything.
Everything
That
goes on behind closed doors. Everything that family has done, someone struggled with.
I don't even know what they went through. And I thank
God
that this little boy was taken and placed
in a new home.
Because what
would the alternative be?
You find this little boy
in a ditch,
swept up
on the beach,
in a river somewhere, accidentally. And how many families are now going to be affected by the you know what, my head's going blank today. How many families will be affected by the hate driven at this family? And we'll decide to do something other than what's best for that child. Eventually hurting that child. Is this what Josh wants? Is the news. Should never
ever
or even worse in the
gutter.
Sure. But that weren't the situation. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're now at the call.
My name is Josh. Thank you for joining me today on this very special episode. I'm so excited because not 20 minutes ago, I got a call from the police. You heard it here. Micah called the police on me, so I'm like, what?
Yeah, you're fighting that soul music, Josh, aren't you? Pathetic.
Let's do this. I don't know what else to say. Like, we got to spin the wheel and we'll get this rolling. Okay, let's do it. Let's spin and dance, shall we? Yeah, baby.
I'm gonna fast forward this part.
Trying to figure it out. I don't know what it is. next one here. Let's dance.
Okay,
Pretty
here we go.
ironic now, isn't it, about them spilling the wheel?
Thank you to whoever bought me these tiny hands. I appreciate it. I was going to try to do the whole vlog. I can't. My fingers can't do things. Can't press the mouse. I got things to do. So thank you for whoever bought me these fingers. Namaste. Let's
It's probably off someone's doll. Or off their child's doll.
the tape. My wife taped these on. Uh-oh. Oh, man. All right. This is one of those sweaters you can buy at my store, so check it. All right, so here's the deal. I'm sitting on my couch, post-nap. Kids and I just watched The Prince of Egypt. It's great. I fell asleep because it's a Sunday afternoon nap, and that's what dads are supposed to do. And I'm sitting there, I wake up, I'm like, oh, that's nice. And I get a call. My city's regional police department. I'm like, what did my kid do? First of all, I was like, someone's dead. One of my kids did something, they're dead. And the guy, and he picked up, hello. He's like, hi, is this?
So that's your first thoughts. Police call you, so you assume that someone's dead and your kids have done something. Fair enough.
Is this Josh? I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you know someone named Micah? And I'm thinking, well, yeah, but I mean, like a stoffer? He's like, yeah, that's it. I'm like, okay. This is so funny. So the guy goes on, he's like, okay, I just have to let you know, I got a complaint, I got a call from this lady talking about, do you do videos about somebody? I'm like, yes, I do. And he's still confused. I'm like, you know that this lady that called you is from the U.S.? He's like, I know, and it's just weird, and I thought I was going to follow up with this and just try to figure out what's going on. She says you're harassing her videos and all this kind of stuff, and he's like, can you walk me through what's going on? And I'm like, absolutely. I'll walk you through what's going on. So I'm like, first of all, let's look for an apps. I'm like, is this happening? I'm a local guy.
This guy's wild. He really is wild.
I do this as a side hustle. He's like, is this your job? I'm like, it's sort of my job. Yeah, I get a little bit of money for this, and it's not my main job, but I do it. And he's like, okay, so you consider yourself media? I'm like, yeah, I consider myself media, like a commentator. Not a journalist. I did not say those words. But he's like, okay, so walk me through what's going on. So, okay, here's the story. So I do on YouTube what's called commentary or reactionary commentary, meaning I take someone's video and I break it down. And I make fun.
And you rip them to shreds. That is just called keyboard warrior. Bully. A-hole.
And I said, and I do what's called snark. Basically, I make fun of them. He's like, okay. And he's like, he's sort of with me at this point. I said, well, the person that just called you, do you not really know who she is? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go Google Micah Stauffer. And as he's doing that, I tell him, like,
Well, you see, Josh, just because you and I know who Micah is, people who don't watch sort of commentary channels, I don't even know that many people who do watch commentary channels or sort of a part of the beauty community and the commentary community and every other community there is on YouTube, because there are millions. And if I mentioned you to someone in passing, they would have absolutely no idea. If I mentioned Micah in passing, they'd have absolutely no idea. Just the way the world works.
she is a lady who is a family vlogger, a very rich family vlogger who made tons of money by adopting a kid from China. And then when life got a little bit too hard for them, they rehomed him and became one of the most hated internet people on YouTube. He's like, really? And I'm like, so this is what I do. And I told him what I do. My whole job here is to stop the exploitation of children online and everything. He's like, oh, that's cool. Start talking, we're having,
I could BS on that, Josh. You're not protecting anybody, apart from your wallet, that is. You say that minors under the age of 16 can't consent to anything, yet your adopted son, who you go on your channel frequently, is how old? Is that 14 or 15? That's called a minor. That is definitely called a minor.
we're shooting the shit. And the guy's like, okay, well, that seems normal. He's like, I've never spoken to someone like you. I gave him the tea. I'm like, I just said, look, she's someone who is atrocious in what she's done. I'm an adopted dad myself, and so this hit me home. And, this is what I do on the internet. So in order to bring awareness to these people, I snark on them. And he's with me. And all of a sudden I hear him just like, oh, NBC. The guy is Googling Micah at the same time we're talking. And he's like, oh my God. He's just reading the articles. He's like, oh my God. I'm like, so you see? So he's like, look, I have to ask you. If I ask you to stop doing videos about Micah, are you going to stop doing videos about Micah? And I said, absolutely not. No, I'm not. So I know my rights. He's like, good, thank you, no worries. I just had to ask you. She called us, and I thought, why not check up on it? Again, I'm not sure the legality of it. If someone calls from the U.S. and says that this guy's making videos about me, making fun of me, I think he was probably calling me more to curiosity than anything else, and I'm fine with it. But I said, no, I'm not going to stop. And, if you look her up, she is one of the worst of the worst of the worst. And I'm like thinking to myself, Micah, really? Did you think I would? Did you?
Actually, Josh, there are people so much worse than Micah Stauffer. Let's think of a few, shall we? The Yorkshire Ripper. Myra Hindley. Rose West. I think you'll find they're worse. A lot worse.
I think I was going to do. I think what Mike and James are trying to do, and obviously no proof of this.
Jimmy Savile. All worse than Micah. But I'm going to call it a day there because I think I've viewed more of your crap than I really, really, really want to. Because everything you spit out is vile. And as for being an adopted parent yourself, there's a difference, Josh. When you adopt children from family who are family to you already have a bond with them. Whether they be your nephews, your cousins, whatever, your family. You know them. You know what they like. You know their favourite colour. You know their favourite food. And you're trying to help another family member out. Which is more unlikely to fail than it is if you just went out and you adopted another child. And just because your adoption worked out, it doesn't... I need to pause a second. As I was saying, there's a difference between adopting family members than there is adopting strangers out of an orphanage. Adopting children out of an orphanage is a lot harder, a lot more stressful than adopting a family member's children. The children you adopted are lucky. They went to family when they could have gone to complete strangers who didn't give two hoots about them. Or they cared, just not like a family member would. Taking children out of the system and taking in family members, two different ball games, Josh. When you sit here dragging mothers for trying to care for their children, for doing what's best for their children, finding a way to make money to give their children a better life. And you can take that and you can rip it to shreds. You can take that and you can tear down a woman. How she looks, how she dresses, the way she does her makeup. And none of it is good enough for Joshua Barber, the ex-pastor. And none of it will ever be good enough for Joshua Barber, the ex-pastor. Because he is better than everyone else. He does everything better. Everything he does is perfect. Where the rest of the world are faulty and broken. Well, I would rather be broken than be like you, Josh. I would rather be broken than judge other people by standards I couldn't live up to myself. So with that, I'm going to call it a day. Because I'm no better, and I'm no less than. And neither are you, Josh. And one day you'll wake up and you'll realise that. But until then, I don't know what to tell you. I could show you more videos. I could talk more about how horrible you are. But I'm done listening to how vile everything that comes out of your mouth is. Don't want to hear it anymore. I'm not going to. I hope one day someone sues you and they win. When you talk about children not being able to consent to them being on the internet, did your daughter consent, Josh? To her voice being on the internet? Under a channel with her name on it? I doubt it. Do you ask your boys permission every time you turn the camera on, they're in the room? I doubt it. Hey. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. I shall see you in the next video. Have a good day, thank you, and good night.